have selective hearing. I said I'm hearing. If they don't give us what we want, we sitting out. And that's the truth. I will continue to use my voice to speak for what we want and deserve as a league.
Everybody.
I agree.
Everybody.
I agree with that.
But we gotta get paid the consequences.
Y'all gotta deal with something.
Angel Reese just said something on Twitter that has conservatives absolutely furious. She tweeted, "We are prepared to stay at the negotiation table for as long as it takes." And oh boy, did that spark a wildfire across social media. Conservative commentators are claiming the WNBA isn't financially viable, while Reese stands firm on fighting for player rights. This isn't just another Twitter beef, it's revealing the deep divide about women's sports, money, and respect. The responses to her tweet show exactly why this conversation matters right now. Angel Reese's recent podcast appearance just sparked a massive Twitter firestorm, and the whole thing started from one comment that got completely twisted out of context. On her show, Unapologetically Angel, with DJ Karen, she was discussing the upcoming collective bargaining agreement for the WNBA when she made what seemed like a pretty straightforward statement about player negotiations. What Angel actually said was, "If y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out, and that's the truth."
Have selective hearing. I said I'm hearing. If they don't give us what we want, we sitting out. And that's the truth. She dropped a new episode of her podcast of Unapologetically Angel with none other than DJ Carrington. I never said anything about the NBA. We are prepared to stay at the negotiation table for as long as it takes.
She was clearly talking about WNBA players potentially sitting out during negotiations if their demands weren't met. Pretty standard negotiation talk, right? But that's not how it played out online. A conservative commentator with a massive following of nearly 500,000 followers took her words and completely flipped the script. This person claimed Angel was threatening an NBA strike.
I will continue to use my voice to speak for what we want and deserve as a league. Angel Reese had a game last night down in Miami at Unrivaled, and I'm telling you right now, she's going ultra. Somebody said force people to watch women's basketball. It's economics. Man, if it's not making the money, you can't pay people.
Yes, the NBA, not the WNBA. If the women didn't get more money, talk about a wild misinterpretation. The tweet went viral almost instantly, painting Angel as some entitled athlete disconnected from reality. The responses were brutal. People started piling on, calling the WNBA a financial black hole that only exists because the NBA props it up. The comment section was flooded with statements like, "Force people to watch women's basketball. It's economics, man. If it's not making the money, you can't pay people from the money you don't have."
From the money you don't have. Now that is the truth. Now actually that was a comment under his post there. Angel does it to herself. like come on now, bro. She does it to herself. Somebody said, Angel, you're in contest clarified. Statement is literally the definition of a strike.
The backlash was swift and harsh, but Angel Reese isn't someone who just sits back when she's being misrepresented. She clapped back directly, setting the record straight about what she actually said, and even linking to the real podcast so people could hear it for themselves. The problem is, by then, the false narrative had already taken off running.
Now, as for what WNBA players deserve, that's a different conversation. Each and every time. I ain't got to bash her. Because you want to know why? Angel gonna do some foolishness. She's gonna do something foolish. The league that you work in, I'm sure you know, does not return a profit.
What's really interesting about this whole Twitter war isn't just the back and forth about one comment. It's revealing a much deeper tension about how women athletes are perceived when they advocate for themselves. When Angel talks about staying firm in negotiations, she gets labeled as entitled. Meanwhile, male athletes negotiate hard for contracts all the time without facing the same criticism.
So technically, y'all already severely overpaid. Damn. But I doubt there's anyone in your league who wants to have that conversation on your podcast, including yourself. Any normal business would have cut bait with the WNBA 15 to 20 years ago.
The Twitter war sparked by Angel's comments just ripped the mask off what WNBA players have been facing for years. Think about this. The same people claiming the WNBA would have folded years ago as a normal business conveniently forget that the NBA itself lost money for decades before becoming profitable. The economics behind this fight reveal everything about who gets second chances in sports and who doesn't. You can see it in every comment section right now. Conservative critics aren't just disagreeing with Angel, they're trying to shut down the entire conversation before it even starts. The WNBA isn't financially viable.
The NBA's money is the only reason the WNBA continues to exist. Your league is a financially black hole. Feminist plus an NBA commissioner with no backbone.
Players are already overpaid for the revenue they generate. It's the same recycled arguments designed to make women athletes feel like they should just be grateful for whatever they get. But here's what's wild. The WNBA is literally breaking viewership and attendance records this season. The league is experiencing unprecedented growth, and instead of seeing this as proof that players deserve better compensation, critics are doubling down on outdated arguments. Angel's comment about staying at the negotiation table wasn't some entitled demand. It was a commitment to fighting for what's fair. Yet somehow that got twisted into her being ungrateful. Meanwhile, when NBA players negotiate hard for contracts, they're praised as smart businessmen making power moves. See the difference in how we talk about this? The most frustrating part? This conservative framing completely ignores history. Men's sports leagues weren't profitable overnight. The NBA, NFL, MLB, they all required years of investment and patience before turning profits. But when it comes to women's leagues, there's this weird expectation that they need to be immediately profitable or they don't deserve to exist. Why the double standard?
Sure, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more. But the women coming in, not this year, but next year.
Yeah.
The ones coming this year will still be on the rookie contract again. Everybody.
I agree.
Everybody.
I agree with that.
But we gotta get paid the consequences.
Y'all gotta deal with something.
This whole Twitter explosion isn't really about Angel's podcast comments anymore. It's exposing a fundamental battle over how we value women's sports during their growth years. The upcoming CBA negotiations aren't just about salary numbers. They're about whether we're going to give women's basketball the same runway for success that men's leagues received. So here's what all this Twitter drama really reveals. Angel Reese is standing at the center of a much bigger battle that's about to explode. The upcoming WNBA negotiations aren't just about paychecks, they're about the entire future of women's basketball. The popularity of the W is growing like crazy right now, making these conversations about player compensation more important than ever. When players like Angel speak their truth, it's not just for themselves, it's for every female baller waiting for their shot at the pros. You know what's wild? The way fans react to this whole situation actually matters. Your support, your viewership, your merch purchases, it all adds up and strengthens the player's position as they fight for what they deserve. This isn't just Angel's fight anymore. It's become something much bigger that could change women's sports forever. The question is, which side of history will you be on when it happens?